Look at this. We got lots of people coming in, and as more and more people join us, great to see you. Welcome, CD, Alex, Penny, Priyanka, Kim. Oh my goodness, you're all looking so good. Mindy, I was just thinking about you this morning out there coaching all those people. And put in the chat something that is great that has happened to you. Maybe the 4th of July, you enjoyed the fireworks and all the freedom that we have, whatever it is. Put something out there and where you're from, because we want to get a lot of referrals going in this business and building this community so we know each other, right? Now, the greatest part, I know some of you, it's early in the morning where some of you are at. We've got some folks in here from California, and there it is 6:30 a.m. Welcome. You may be dusting the sleep out of your eyes. We're not sure. We're certain that happy that you're with us, though. And I started thinking this morning about investing in ourselves, and as quote has been, put so much money in yourself or invest in yourself so much that you're the most expensive thing that you own. And I also thought about my dear mentor that passed away, Jim Rohn, who said, formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune. And Marshall Goldsmith, to help others, develop yourself first. And then the more seriously you take your growth, the more seriously your people will take you when you're on a team. And then Shaitan Bahat said, be so busy improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. And my big thing is, well, you can't get to better till you get to different. So these phone calls are to help us realize how we can become different in ways that will help others as well as ourselves. And we're here to serve. So is everybody putting in the chat where you're from and getting some referral business going here? Okay, I see a lot of fireflies over there. Success is a toll road. Yes, Mindy, that is correct. Are you willing to pay the toll? Like in my book, I said, every goal has a toll booth. You need to pay to get past it. Oh, we've got New Orleans, Indiana, Miami coming in, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Cape Cod. Ooh, that's beautiful up there. And I trust you all had a great 4th of July. They said today that we wanted to discuss teams, and I know last week Tony did a great job. In fact, many of you stayed on for over an hour. He just kept going and going. He goes, as long as they want to learn, I'm here to help them. And what did you learn last week? Somebody put in the chat or raise your hand. What did Tony help you with last week? Blessed morning from Queens, New York. Happy to be here. DC Metro, South Carolina. Jeff, welcome. South Jersey, Branson, Springfield, Missouri. Oh my goodness, I love it there. That's for sure. And Houston, Texas, Pearland, Texas. Wow. Everybody's coming in from all over the place. Absolutely love it. So what did Tony help you with last week? Tony was great last week. We focused on numbers and getting real and getting right about our actions. That's right. Bastrop, Katie, Houston's so big. They said that if you drove from one side of Houston to the other, it's like driving from New York City past Chicago, and you've never left the state. It's amazing. Well, one thing we know, I'm going to hit into teams then. Teams have got to be committed to the team. If the team is only committed, like some people, they've called me and they go, well, my one person is committed mostly to themselves. So I've got to ask you some questions here. How many of you have a team? First off, just raise your hand so I can see. Okay. A few. Okay, we've got a lot of single agents. That's awesome. So it's going to work for all of us. And I'm going to make certain that we get the single agent and the team's taken care of. The biggest question is to ask yourself, why do you exist? Why do we exist as a team? And if you're a single agent, why are you an agent? How do we behave is another question. Does your team know exactly how you behave? I mean, our team has 5 things. We love what we do. We'll add value to people daily. We will create exceptional experiences. And for those of you that are part of the mentorship program, you know we create exceptional experiences. And we will handle each and every detail with individualized care, and we will forge relationships and build community. That's what we're doing here. We're fulfilling that number 5. Yet, what does everyone know how to behave? Even if you're a single agent, do you have maybe 2 to 5 things on how you're going to behave as an agent that kind of gives you boundaries within yourself, within your team? And what do you do? Because if you say, I sell real estate, I think we're looking at it incorrectly. How else could we say what we do? Well, you can put it
I
in the
help
chat. Yeah, or you can talk out. Who said that? Keep going.
Diana. This is Andrea. Good morning.
Good
I help
morning,
people.
Andrea.
I help people build memories and communities.
See, there you go. Now that says a little bit more than I sell real estate, right? And how do you succeed? Have you thought about that? Can you answer that? And if you're on a team, does everybody answer it the same way? How do you succeed? Another question is, what's the most important thing? I know myself and our team from time to time we get our priorities all messed up. Do you guys do that? Are you human too? Or are you superhuman and you got all your priorities figured out? Yet, does the team know what's most important? And who must do what? Does everybody know their lane? Do they know what they are to do? And if you're a single agent, do you have systems in place to where you're not helter-skelter? I call it being a star agent. A star agent goes from here up to here, down to here, over to here, then back here, then back where they were, all in the same day without getting much done when they don't have systems. And they make a star for certain. And yet, think about those questions. Why do we exist? How do we behave? What do we do? How will we succeed? What's the most important thing? And who must do what? Well, Tony's taught us, and he talks about it all the time. We got to be consistent in all those things. We've got to be committed in all those things. We have to communicate what we're doing in all those areas. And it's not just top-down communication if you're a team, it's communication. Now, let me tell you, for those of you in real estate and for those of you in business, listen, because it's going to apply to you in a different way. I'll switch it over. Yet in real estate, I do not know why a realtor would ever take a listing and never call the seller back. I'm sorry. I just don't, I think they ought to take the listing away from you. If you're not going to call that seller weekly, and one agent said to me, well, yeah, but they didn't have any showings. And I go, yeah, they know that. And you still need to communicate. Communicate, did the other homes around them have showings? If they did, how many showings did they had? Did one of them go under contract? If so, was the price lower than what you've got? It's communication every week. Wednesday, I found, was the best time to do that. And you know what? A lot of people wanted you to call them at work. They want to know what's going on. If you communicate, blame the market. If you don't communicate, they blame you. And realtors say, well, I care about my sellers. And I go, when did you call them last? And then they say things like, well, I haven't talked to them for quite a while. And I go, well, then don't tell me you care about your seller. You care more about yourself because you don't know what to say. And I think realtors, this is the harsh truth, is, we've got to look in the mirror and say, how am I serving the people? Otherwise, it's how are we serving us? Now, Mindy, I'm going to come to you in just a moment. For those of you not in real estate, communication with your people. How often do you communicate? How often do you call and check in with them to see how they're doing, what they're doing, all of those types of things? And you can't communicate with everybody, yet do you have it down to where you call so many every day? Do you have it to where you're sending emails on a timely fashion? And do the emails, are they consistent? Like if you send Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do you consistently send Monday, Wednesday, Friday? Mindy, I'm coming to you. Go ahead and unmute.
Yep. Good morning. It's great to see your smiling face. Sorry, I've missed out on the last 3 or so weeks because I've been so busy, which is a good thing. But anyways, as part of my business, I have to partner with a lot of people. And literally my one huge requirement is communicate with me. Because if there's anything that will put me off on ever using that person again, is negative surprises or them not communicating with me.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if there's bad news, but communicate it to me and don't like wait till the very last minute. And what I do on the other side is um, I try to stay top of mind for people as best as I can. I mean, I'll send them an interesting article I found because it made me think of them. Or, on some of my other businesses, I'll come across something that might be of interest from a selling standpoint, and I'll forward it to the person I know works with that. So and I also attend a lot of conferences where I see my clients. So seeing them in person, there's really nothing better. But anyways, that's my 2 cents worth. I'm trying to get everything said because I haven't been able to participate in the last weeks.
We appreciate you participating, and you bring a different perspective because you're not in real estate, and yet you've bought and sold real estate, which is always fun to interview people that have bought and sold real estate. You really do get to hear what some of them have to say. And the sad part is it's not you as a realtor, yet every realtor represents every realtor. I hate to say that. I always have to remind people that the company, one agent in that company doesn't mean I'm like them, right? And yet, if they say, well, I listed with, and they generally say the company, not the agent, which I found very interesting, unless the agent has made a very good name for themselves. And then they say, well, I listed with so and so, and I was happy or I wasn't happy, or they could have done this better. And you know what? Every time, I can't think of a single time that somebody didn't complain about a real estate company or agent that they didn't have the complaint because they were not communicated with. I mean, that should tell us a whole lot. Are we communicating on the team? Because if you have a team member that doesn't communicate, you got to get them off the team. They're going to just take that whole team down, because sabotaging is part of lack of communication. And when somebody's sabotaging you, you'll never be able to get to the top. So let me ask you, do you trust all the people that's on your team? And when I mean trust, that they're telling you everything that you need to hear, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then I'm going to ask you, can your sellers and buyers and coaching clients and that trust you to tell them everything they need to hear, the good, the bad, the ugly? Because it's hard to sit here and say, hey, some realtors don't deserve to have a listing. Take it away from them if they're not going to communicate with the seller. And that pings a lot of people that don't call their sellers. And of course, then they get upset at me and I go, don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you what I get to hear out there because I talk to a lot of buyers and sellers, especially now, because I love to hear what they have to say about realtors. And most of them complain about lack of communication. And I would say at least 90%. Tony, if you're hearing anything else, because we love to talk to people about, hey, have you ever bought or sold a home? What was it like? What did you like? What didn't you like? Those kind of things. And we get to hear that. So, Nikki and then Dan Harker. Oh, so good to see both of you here today. Unmute yourself, Nikki.
Good morning. I wanted just to share a little bit when it comes to a team concept, something I learned. I used to have a really big team, sold real estate in 3 cities and 2 states, and life changed a lot. And I'm okay with all of it. But one thing I learned from a team is that if I was not communicating to my people, I could not expect that they were communicating. So the one of the big things on our team was giving them, the systems and the tools that we had to make sure not only did they know our standard, that they complied with the standard. And then when I did my weekly one-on-ones, I was able to ask them, tell me about the conversations you're having with the people you're helping right now. Because I never wanted them to be like, so if you have a team out there, I don't want you to go back to them and be like, you need to tell me every time you talk to someone. But if you have that relationship with your team member, you're able, most people can't handle more than 5 to 7 people at one time. So who are the people you're talking to? So it's all about, I think, too, on how you present it to your team and how you ask them to communicate and what is your relationship with your team member so that you can ask them that and knowing you're coming from care and concern, not from criticism.
Exactly. Very good. And Dan, what wisdom do you have for us today?
So the one thing that just comes to mind is you're talking about these relationships, these weekly conversations. I'm just reminded again of covenant relationship every day, especially if you're in a marriage. You wake up every day. If it's a successful marriage, you think about your wife as you wake up. How can I benefit her? How can I serve her today? You're praying that she's waking up having the same thoughts about you. That's a covenant relationship. I think if we keep that same mindset on a weekly basis, we're always thinking about our clients. You can do whatever you can to help them. I think that's what defines not only a good relationship, but it's going to make it a lot easier when you got to have the tough conversation. They'll listen to you. If they don't hear from you, they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah, and they're going to blame you for everything that's happened. And I love what you're saying there, Dan. And that's a great way to wake up, to think about how can I serve my spouse today? How can I serve my family today? And Karina, just before we go to you, I want to remind everyone that when we have a team, of course, we form a team, then the team has to storm a little bit. Then they actually norm, and then they start performing. And a lot of people will never allow the storm to happen. Therefore, they'll never get to performing. So we've got to be, and when I say storm, it doesn't mean that you scream and yell at each other. That isn't a storm. A storm to me is more like Susan Scott teaches about the beach ball. Everybody lives on a different stripe of the beach ball. And if the beach ball, you're living on the red stripe, you're going to see the world is red. And if you're living on the orange stripe, you're going to see the world is orange. The white stripe is, let's face it, everything keeps going around. Green is green, blue is blue, purple's purple. Whatever color you're on, that's your perspective of the world. And a lot of times, the admin people on a team, we never ask their opinion. And one thing that I know, if you ask for everyone's opinion, you're going to have some people that want to sit back and never talk. Can't do that. In a beach ball conversation, in that meeting, everybody talks. And you ask the question, and as a leader, you tell them your answer. Why? Because they're going to be wondering, especially if you're in a corporate setting, because some of you are, and you're going to be wondering, what is my boss thinking? I don't want to upset them if they're that type of a boss, right? So if you're over the meeting, you tell them exactly what you think. And now I want to hear your opinion, and every opinion is welcome. And the more that they differ, the better it is, because we'll get everyone's perspective out of there. So be thinking about this question right now as I take Karina's, it's so good to see you, Karina. Been a long time since I've seen you. And if you could hire one person tomorrow, what role would create the biggest impact in your business? And then what's stopping you from getting that person? So, Karina, you're up. Unmute yourself, my friend.
Hey, Diana, I love the beach ball stripes conversation. And actually, that really relates to what I wanted to share. We had kind of by accident with our team a really interesting thing happen years ago. We had gotten super, super busy, and we didn't have enough listing agents, quite frankly, for them to really handle the load that they were carrying at the time. And to make those weekly calls, and it kept slipping, right? And you can only do that once in a while until your clients really mind, and they don't like to hear you every time you're calling just to tell them that you need to reposition yourself in the market. So we actually had a couple of folks from the admin team that we put into a role called client care, and they started helping our listing agents make those weekly calls every other week. And we all kind of looked at it and went, well, this isn't ideal. We want the listing agents to be the one. We didn't want it to become an excuse, right, for them to not call or whatnot. And very quickly, we started realizing that it became our feedback loop, because when the client care folks called, they were so sweet and so welcoming and nurturing. And, our listing agents were a little bit more on the pit bull side. They were our negotiators. And our clients started telling these two client care ladies all sorts of things about what they liked about our processes, what they didn't, what they were scared about, what they wanted more of, what kind of communication. And it was like we had our own study groups every week, just because we had people on a different beach ball stripe calling and getting a different perspective and showing up differently, right? So it's how the stripes, we all on our stripes, we show up a little bit differently, and our ideas are a little different, but also our filters are a little different, and the energy that we put off to people is a little different. And we had clients tell us they were afraid to tell their listing agents what they were thinking, but they were so glad that client care called, because now they could tell them. So, it was really by accident, but it was something that we continued because it gave us so much insight into how we could serve our clients better and what people were needing, and also how different people related differently to other behavior styles. So it was really great.
You know what? I love that. And in our system book, we did call them client care managers, client care manager for sellers, client care manager for buyers. And Marla was the gal that helped me call sellers. And I truly believe what you did, Karina, and what you're doing is gold, solid gold. Because having Marla call them, then it made it so easy. You know what? She even got a bonus for every price reduction she got. And you give them the scripts. And of course, many of you have seen the books, that the systems that I developed. And this is Marla's, just to show having systems. This was Marla's book that had every single system that she ever used, every action plan, everything, her schedule, her action plans, her forms, her scripts, the information she needed, the letters that she would send out, and everything was so systematized. That's why one client care manager for sellers and then the buyer client care manager had the same type of a book. And the interesting part is, you know what? We did 350 deals with 2 admin. Most people are hiring an admin for every 50 deals they do. Why? Because they don't have systems. They don't have it organized. And therefore, I mean, when you think about even maps, we were running maps at the very end with 32 people, and we were serving over 200 and about 30,000 people a year, all because of systems. Now, the real truth isn't like the Wizard of Oz. It's not behind the magic curtain. We would share everything with everyone. And that's what I love about this group and this community, is the way that you share with each other. How many of you learned, well, you're going to make changes based on what Karina said today? I mean, I saw hearts going up. I see hands going up. This is what it's all about. And Jenny, you're up. Take yourself off of mute.
Good morning. You know, I just read something this week. My son serves on a submarine. He's an officer, but they have a room on the submarine called the goat locker. And that is only for the chiefs of the boat. Anybody else has to be invited in, because they use the perspective that rank does not equal experience. And the chiefs of the boat have been on the boat for a long time, and you could have a brand new officer on the boat who does not know what the chief knows. So everybody has to knock on the door and be invited in. Even the captain of the boat, he takes off his lid, and that's a signal that rank does not matter in this room, so they can have those honest conversations, because people's lives are on the line. It's not just a real estate transaction, it's their life. But I love rank doesn't beat experience. And that's why you need everybody on the team to feel free to share the good, the bad, and the ugly, so the team can be better.
You know, and I love what you just said. Rank doesn't outdo experience. Experience is a great teacher. And, you know, it also reminds me, what conversation have you been avoiding with someone on your team or somewhere else that's actually costing you by not having it? Think about that. What conversation should you be having today before the day is over that you've been avoiding? And I mean, do your team members know exactly what success actually looks like, or are they still guessing? Because I find a lot of people go, oh, on our teams, I go, well, what are your standards? Well, for our buyer's agent, they sell a home a month. And I go, that's fabulous. And so every one of your buyer's agents last month sold a home. And they go, well, no. And I go, well, what about the month before? Well, no. Well, what about the one that didn't sell one last month? What about the month before that? Did they sell one? And sometimes it's no. And I go, well, then you don't have a standard of one a month. I mean, how many months do they get to go? 7, 10, 12? I mean, come on. What is your standard? Now, most people have a standard. You know what it is? It's whatever they let happen. That's their standard. Yeah. So what is the biggest obstacle that's preventing you from producing what you desire to produce? Now, if you want to do 10 deals a year and you're doing 10, you're a success. I get it. And yet, do you desire to produce more? And if not, what is the biggest obstacle that's preventing you from going to that next level? And Claudia, you're up. Happy birthday. That party was, she had not one birthday party, she had 2. Does that make you 2 years older or just one?
No, just better celebrated. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's just that Tony mentioned that we should have our 135 and implement it. And I was wondering if this is a session for me to ask whether mine is a good one or if we're going to have another one.
If this mastermind, he's going to give a free mastermind to everybody at 1 o'clock on July 23rd. You're not going to want to miss that. I mean, a free mastermind from Tony DeCello. Are you kidding me? I keep saying, my goodness, we just want to add value to people and let our experience, it's called a legacy.
Okay.
And
Can
we
I
desire
ask
to
you this
give.
is a good one just because I'm supposed to be
Right
implementing
now,
it
I
just
would
now?
probably do that. If you want to send it to me, I'll look at it real quick. We can look at it here as a group very quickly, yet I'm not going to get into a whole coaching session because it's 9 o'clock. Yet we can do some good, the bad, the ugly, so to speak. Yet I have one other question I want to ask you. Are you spending your time as a leader becoming a better leader? That's one of the reasons that we started the mentorship group, because I found that there were a lot of leaders that were in a leadership position and they were not studying leadership other than maybe reading a book every now and then. I think learning from people that have been leaders, and we're starting another one in January. I've got this little tiny bug that keeps flying around. So if you see me going like that, I don't have a medical problem. I have a bug problem. Okay. And the mentorship program, though, think about that. Next January, when we start, it's going to be people like Susan Scott, Matt Townsend, who's the GOAT of relationships. We've got Don Yeager, Jeff Henderson, who started the Chick-fil-A cow, right? Or Chick-fil-A. I mean, all these people are going to be pouring into us, and we're going to be learning great leadership lessons as well as having great experiences that we're doing. So Claudia put it up there. Well, I can't really share it right now because we're on so many different Zoom calls and that. Just send it to me and then we'll use it and maybe next week or something as a great point. First of all, congratulations on doing what Tony told you to do. I really want to commend you on that. That is fabulous. He said do a 135 and you went and did it. That is really good. And with everyone here on the call, I want to thank you for being here, and I'm very, very grateful for you. Now remember, your brain cannot be in gratitude and in negativity at the same time. So always be grateful. And I don't know if Tony has left for his appointment as yet. Tony, you're still on. Do you have anything from last week that you want to remind them of? Nope, it doesn't look like. He's probably listening on his car. Is he there? Okay. July 23rd at 1 o'clock with the mastermind. It's a Zoom with Tony, free of charge to all of you. It will be an hour long, and I'd put it in my calendar today. I would sign up for it right away because you don't want to be left out. You know, only so many people can get on those Zooms. So love you all. Remember your team. Who is the person you need to be looking at to hire? Who are the people you need to have a tough conversation with? Because as extreme leadership in that book, it states, if you are the leader, you owe it to the rest of the team if one person is slacking, because you're going to end up losing your top person because you're allowing all this other stuff to happen. They'll go find another leader or another team that they can be part of, because top people want to be with great people that want to get ahead. That's why each of you are on this call today. You want to get ahead. That's why you're all together. Congratulations for being here. Kim, Lisa, Hales up there in the eastern side. I mean, all of you, I'm looking at everyone now. Claudia, Brianna, Julie, Alexa. My goodness, so many people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.